Hey guys, George Webby here, Lionheart Warrior. This is Mission Brief 35. Today is 11/29/2018. I'm going to read you a quote. This is from Sun Tzu's Art of War. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. This information is true thousands of years ago as it is today. We need to know our enemy. We need to know ourselves and we know our enemy because we are locked in a battle. We are locked in a war every single day. And it's a war that we cannot see with our natural eyes. It's going on all around us. It manifests in the physical world for sure. I mean, we're dealing with principalities and powers that exist in the heavenly places as well as here. And so what we need to understand is who they are and what they're about. One of them may surprise you. All right, the first one is obvious. It's the one that Hollywood likes to kind of throw in our face, and that's going to be the devil. But I want to look at a couple of verses here. There's tons of verses on how these entities are the enemy. But I want to just look at a couple here just so we can kind of have some verses and look at God's word. All right, so the first verse is going to be found in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. And it reads like this. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So the Bible labels the devil as a roaring lion. He's seeking whom he may devour, okay? And he's definitely the enemy. But the issue with the devil is that Hollywood and the world kind of paints the devil as this fictional character that's like very scary and hides under the bed or in the closet and waits for you to go to sleep. He doesn't really operate like that. The Bible labels him more as an angel of light. He understands how to manipulate this world, how to manipulate us. His angels, those that fell with him, also know how to do that. And they're directly involved in all kind of deceptions and all kind of subterfuge. And they're going to do that in a way that is not going to seem very offensive. It's going to actually be welcomed. It's actually going to be, like I said, he's an angel of light. It's going to be comforting at times. It's not going to be a direct frontal assault that is obvious. It's going to come as a buddy. It's going to come as something that looks like it kind of feeds you what you want or gives you your desire. It's very nice and sweet at times. And that's the opposite of the movies where they have that, spirit, demon, crazy, scary thing that just gives you that bubbled up anxiety. That's not how he comes. Matter of fact, that's probably one of the better deceptions that the world and the devil have come up with is to make us think of this hokey character and go, oh, well, it's not the devil. He doesn't act that way. He doesn't look like that. He doesn't come in that nature and theme, so he must not be the devil. That's not the case at all. So we understand that, need to understand that. The second enemy is going to be the world. So let's look at that. We're going to go to James chapter 4, verse 4. All right, so let's flip there. All right, that's going to read, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. What does it mean to be a friend of the world? To be friendly with the world. Now, we're told that we live in this world, but we're not to be of it as Lionheart Warriors, as Christians, as Lionheart men of God. We're supposed to be in this world, but not of it. Because we can't be giving our orders and our directions from the world. The world will have us do things that are in direct contradiction of God and his kingdom and his righteousness. That's obvious. This same world is the one that put Christ to death. Here's the problem though. If you live in a modern world, especially in America, we have what's called cultural Christianity. It's where Christianity has infected the world culture enough to where it seems like a lot of things are allowed, that they're actually of God, but they're really not. And here's how you can draw the line. Here's how you can know the truth. Does it glorify God and his son, Jesus Christ, and the gospel? If it does, then it's of God. If it doesn't, in the culture, then it is of the world. If you open up your social media, look at your TV, radio, whatever, you can see that they are perpetuating a gospel that is not the gospel of God. And therefore, it's an enemy. It's in direct contradiction to that. And when I say gospel, I mean good news, the plan of salvation, the way to reach a certain height of salvation. I'll give you a for instance real quick. Let's take Hollywood. What is Hollywood's gospel so we can understand the enemy? And I'm not digging on Hollywood because Hollywood's just a reflection of the world. They're not doing anything other than what your local guy down the street will do. And here's this. They tell you what? Popularity. Get as many people to know you as possible. Get popular. Make as much money as possible. Do And in order to do that, get as much stuff and pleasure as you want. And in doing that, that is your way of salvation. That's attaining what you should attain, and why you were put here is to get as popular as possible and to be able to do what you want and find as much pleasure as you want. That's going to be the world's gospel. We know that that's definitely not the gospel of God. It's a direct contradiction to his ways. It's a direct contradiction to his kingdom and his righteousness. We know that. The world's the enemy. Here's the thing. The last enemy is the one that is the most deceiving, because we really don't think about that, especially after salvation. And that's going to be the old man, the old nature, the enemy within. So the last verse I want to look at, and like I said, there's tons on this one, is going to be Colossians 1:21. Get a little tongue-tied here. Oh, let's go to that. All right. All right, that's going to read. Sorry. Cool. Here we go. It reads as such: "And you, who were once alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now he has reconciled in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and blameless and above reproach in his sight." So, because we're enemies, Christ did a work to make us no longer enemies. But we have to understand that we still have this enemy within us. This old nature is still here. The flesh is still here, and we're at war with it all the time. Because let's be honest, it wants to do what the world wants. It wants to be in bed, in cahoots with the enemy, the devil and his angels. It wants this. That's its natural bent. The spirit is opposition to the flesh. So they're always at war. There's always an enemy there. So in order to know thyself and know the enemy, we have to understand that the enemy is actually within us. And so there's the battle that has to take place every single day in the heart of a man, is that he has to yield to the spirit and not to the flesh. He has to yield to Christ, not self. That's the first enemy that we really need to deal with. The other ones are obvious as much as they can be, but that one is the one that's very, very deceiving. That's very, because he's right there close to us. He's right next to us. So we need to understand the enemy so that we can understand ourselves. And that way we can win every battle. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all for God's glory, not our own. And as always, guys, remember, stay in the fight.